Given the recent buffs to the Chieftain Mark 6, today's World of Tanks console video will be looking at the tank, seeing if Wargaming have made the tank a little bit too overpowered within the game. And certainly after playing a few games, two of which you'll see within this video, I definitely think the tank has become one of the best ones within the game at tier 10 as a heavy tank. It's certainly, the DPM of the tank is just utterly insane considering the armour it now gets and the ability to bounce shots, as well as just having that fantastic great accuracy and the turret armour and the gun depression, just everything you really want in a heavy tank. This is what this tank will give you, and so today's video is just showcasing just how good this one is, and I really do implore all of you to try and get your hands on the Chieftain Mark 6. Obviously we do currently have an on-track event for anyone willing to put a little bit of time into getting the tank. You do get 25% bonus XP, you'll also get 50% off tiers 3 to 7, and you'll get 30% off tiers 7 to 10, so that's always really good, and certainly a great time for you to pick up this tank if you are wanting to go down any of the British heavy tank lines. And what actually came with this new update? Well, basically the Chieftain can now go 46 kilometers an hour top speed. It also gets better terrain resistances, meaning that you can get up to that top speed limit much faster. You also have better turret armor to the point where, yes, you can actually bounce rounds off your turret very reliably. Gone are the days where people can just pen you through the cupola very reliably. You really do actually have to have a very high caliber round to be able to go through that cupola consistently, and you can see even with the standard round on the Chieftain firing flush into the unangled bit of the enemy Chieftain, we had no chance. And granted, the Chieftain has also got premium ammunition upgraded, and even that is bouncing off the side of the turret there of the Chieftain. Yes, we could have probably aimed it straight into the cupola, and maybe we would have penned if we caught it particularly great, but then again, you know, you can consistently deal the damage to opponents, and they probably won't be able to do very much if you get holed down. And I guess that's the real benefit of the Chieftain. I guess when you compare it to the Super Conqueror, they are very similar now, the turret armour of the Chieftain being fantastic, and so yeah, maybe there is a little bit more competition for the top British heavy tank, and I definitely think the Chieftain has reclaimed some of its old long lost power that it once had. I think the tank definitely didn't it was fantastic when it first came out, but as soon as the Super Conqueror landed in the game and you ended up with a lot of the other British heavy tank getting buffed recently, yeah, this one felt a little bit lackluster, and so it certainly wasn't the best one within the game, at least within the modern kind of era of World of Tanks. And so yeah, with these buffs it certainly has become one of the top dogs once again, and you can see just how quickly you reload in the Chieftain. It is literally like playing a medium tank. 5 seconds just under reload within a heavy tank. That is just bonkers. 5.8 seconds without having the enhanced combat rations. Obviously that goes down when you do actually use them, and so yeah, you can just rack up enormous amounts of damage in such a quick time. Obviously you do have the problem of being hit in the lower plate as with all of the British heavies, but even then, because it's a Chieftain hull and you get that really weird boat shaped kind of thing going on, you don't actually reliably get penned in that lower plate. And so if people are auto aiming you, unlike the Chieftain or unlike the FV215B, you don't just get automatically penned, and so that's always really nice thing comparatively to the other British tier 10 heavies. Now, both of these games that are being showcased aren't necessarily the highest damage games, but I thought, considering the length of video that I really wanted to make today, I don't want to keep it a massive long one. We are just reviewing the Chieftain, letting you know if it's actually worth picking up. And so I guess if I could wait and get the fantastic games, but they aren't going to be realistic if I only put up like 10k damage games in the Chieftain, which I'm sure you'll be able to have with this tank now. Yeah, I think that it's one of those tanks. It's going to be the one that you can really push out just inordinate amounts of damage that maybe you wouldn't have thought you'd be able to do in it previously, just because the speed has really kicked the tank up a notch, along with that turret armor. It just has got everything now, compared to what it used to be, where it was a little bit lackluster. Now, as far as this game's gone, obviously 4.3k damage is nothing to sniff at. It's not necessarily a massive high damage game for the chieftain, but it does showcase why this tank can be fantastic. You know, we haven't had just a continuous stream of damage coming out of the tank, and so yeah, you can see that when we have managed to actually unload that high alpha damage gun, you can really kick up some insane numbers. And considering it's a 5.8 second reload when we haven't got combat rations active, you can get, what's that, nearly 4,400 DPM with a heavy tank at tier 10. 4,400 in a British heavy tank. That is utterly ridiculous. I don't know if it's just broken. It's just gone just bonkers one way. It really is just fantastic. And not only did the turret armor get upgraded, the view range of the tank got upgraded as well. So no longer do you have 390, you actually have 400, which means that with the correct crew skills and all of the additional ones that I put on the tank, we've managed to get the view range up to 389 meters base view range, or increased view range even. So 489, fantastic one. You can definitely get spotting damage with this tank. It really is like a medium heavy tank, like a heavium. And yeah, the armor does actually work on the turret, unlike a lot of the mediums. So you can kind of see where the tank comes into effect. You know, we didn't get top spot within this game. 5,177 damage is certainly not the best damage result you'll ever see in a chieftain. I know there'll be plenty of videos out there, and if you want to check out a chieftain fantastic games, we have got a video on the chieftain before it was like buffed, basically when it was kind of in that lower state, but now it just is bonkers, and it really is one of my favorite heavy tanks within the game, if not my favorite. I think it's very close between the Object 277 and the Chieftain Mark 6, but then again, you'll have to make your own mind up as to the tank. As far as some other kind of things that we have to discuss, and when we compare it, really we do need to compare it to other tanks in order to make it a decent comparison, and I think that's probably where the chieftain really needs to kind of be put back in its place. So we have tanks like the E100, of course. I don't think the chieftain is anywhere, well, it's way above the E100. It just pale in comparison the E100 is. The chieftain just surpasses it in every way. It's got better armor, to be honest with you. You know, premium rounds just ruin the E100 and a lot of the German super heavies, but the chieftain's effective armor, whereby it's a lot, well, there's a lot of angles in it, there's a lot of auto ricochet bouncing angles, and so if people are auto aiming you, you can get some bounces and stuff like that. And just the sheer DPM really does help it out a huge amount, and you can put 2 rounds into an E100 for every single one that they're going to hit you with. You can see we can bounce rounds off of the Object 705A, you can put rounds straight back into them, and with the high penetration of the standard rounds on this tank, it means you don't have to fire premium very much. And even if you do, you know, you have super high penetration. I think it got increased actually with the premium one, up from 300 to about 330 or something ridiculous with your premium ammunition. So yeah, coming up against enemy super heavies or enemy heavies, you'll be able to just demolish them and use your DPM way better than they'll be able to do anything back to you. So that is really where the tank comes into effect. It is just when you get your gun singing constantly, this tank becomes just an utterly disgusting monster comparatively to any other tier 10 heavies within the game, at least currently. Obviously Wargaming may rein back some of the buffs on the chieftain, but we don't know that for sure, and I would probably say that they will just leave it how it is. Do I think it's better than the T95 FV201 Valor? I think, to be honest with you, it may just be. With all of the recent buffs, I think it might be. It just has got everything that you really need. I think the Valor, although having, you know, fairly decent kind of, it didn't get any buffs basically to its mobility, so you're probably doing better in the chieftain itself. You're also going to have that upgraded turret armor, making it comparative to the Valor. which has the better armour. And so yeah, to be honest with you, I would stick with the chieftain now, and it won't cost you any money either, especially since the Valor costs you 450,000 free XP. Don't get me wrong, the Valor is a fantastic tank with the 440 alpha damage that one gets, but I definitely think the chieftain is my preferred option, at least currently, and that's having played both of them, and I just think it offers kind of that cooler look. I think it definitely looks nicer as well than the Valor itself. Now you'll see we're going to take a pretty meaty hit from the Jaegeru here, and yeah, we do lose 1,000 hit points, and then we decide we're going to bounce some rounds off of him, which is really unfortunate. However, it's kind of key to note that although we have taken one hit of damage, we've lost 1,100 from the Jaegeru. You could see that the armour was holding up fairly well within these couple of games. We've bounced quite a few, obviously this game being the bounce from the Object 705 earlier. We have now the Object 279E who's deciding he's going to come up and try and get a hit on us. Obviously he derps it. We should have shot at the side of him there, but we didn't manage to do that, and we're just waiting now to out-reload him, because yes, you will out-reload any other tier 10 heavy. It may even have the highest DPM of any tier 10 heavy within the game. Don't quote me on that, that might not be entirely true, but I wouldn't be surprised now. Maybe the FV215B might just pip it slightly, but even then I don't even know now, with all of the recent buffs and all of the changes with the reload mechanics and stuff that update 6.0 has enabled. So let me know in the comment section down below as to your thoughts on the chieftain, whether or not you think it's actually one of the best heavies in the game, whether you think it's just made it just subpar or just up to average. Let me know, because obviously it's just my opinion, and having played a few games, I haven't played it exhaustively, so we haven't played 100 games in this thing since it's been buffed, because it's only been out for one day. But yeah, we've played a fair few, and I've definitely been enjoying it a hell of a lot more with that upgraded mobility that the tank offers. Other than that, I think that is everything for today's video. Obviously let me know what you think, and if you want to check out the latest World of Tanks update news and all of the information regarding the latest update with the Monster Mash game mode and all of that, it's on the channel in the previous videos and on screen right now. Other than that, I hope you join me for one of those videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.